I think we are. I think we're live absolutely everywhere. Hello and welcome to Small Screen Stories. So today, sorry about that. I've got loads of stuff going on at once. Videos are for some reason interrupted on Facebook, which is a bit weird. I just want to work that out, see what's going on right there. But no, it seems to be working well on YouTube. Is it working now on... There's a weird thing that happens on Facebook for some reason. I don't really understand why it does this. But for some reason, it makes a video and then stops that video and then makes another one. I don't know. But anyway... Hello and welcome to Small Screen Stories. This is the daily show where I go over all the news in the world of entertainment and pop culture. I am Edward Lauder. I'm the editor of Small Screen. And let's get right into the big news of, well, technically it was yesterday, but for me over here in, France or the UK, it was today. And that's that HBO Max's The Batman TV kind of spin-off series has lost its showrunner due to creative differences. So this showrunner is a guy called Terence Winter, not Terrence Howard. A lot of people have been saying Terrence Howard, I've noticed in comments and on just online, really, just in videos online. And no, it's Terence Winter. And one of the main reasons why I personally, and a lot of people were very excited about this Batman, kind of the Batman spin-off series, isn't just because it's the Batman spin-off series, which is really exciting anyway. It's not just because it's being written or was written by Matt Reeves, which is very, very exciting as well. It's not just because it's a prequel series set in year one, in Batman year one. And it's not just because it looks like they're going to be taking on kind of Gotham Central, that kind of story arc. Not necessarily that story arc. It's rumored that they're going to call it Gotham Central, by the way, which is a nice nod to the Ed Brubaker comic. But no, it's because of Terence Winter. Terence Winter as a showrunner, to me, was really, really fascinating because he, of course, was one of the people heavily involved in The Sopranos. He was the guy that he was the creator of Boardwalk Empire. He also was the creator and showrunner of Vinyl, which only got, I believe it was only one series before it was cancelled. And he also wrote The Wolf of Wall Street. So he is a really, really talented guy. He's not just worked in TV, he's worked in movies as well. He's someone that seems to kind of understand kind of the gangster vibe, which is something, the criminal atmosphere of TV shows, which is something that this series is supposedly about. Is about the kind of corruption within the Gotham police force. And having him on board was really, really fascinating. But no, apparently he ended up leaving. This is from The Hollywood Reporter, due to creative differences with Matt Reeves in particular. Apparently they had two very different visions for what they wanted. There have been rumors that Winter's vision... according to the Hollywood Reporter, they said that Winter's vision for the drama didn't match what Reeves and the other producers had in mind. But apparently, according to... Again, this is speculation online, claiming that these are exclusives. But people have been saying that apparently Winter wanted a more kind of gritty, realistic approach, whereas Matt Reeves wanted a more kind of Tim Burton feel to it and have almost like a villain of the week type thing, which I don't think Winter would have ever been very interested in. But if that's the case, then I would have been like, my first question is, why on earth would he have agreed to do this in the first place? He clearly would have seen and would have met Reeves beforehand and would have seen the scripts. Why would he then go, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is good for me. I'll sign on to it, and then later go, oh, actually, no, I don't like this idea. I doubt the things would have changed that much, really. I think that Reeves and him just didn't get on, and that's, again, this is speculation. This is what I'm kind of seeing in between the lines here, and they wanted a relatively amicable split And the best way to do that was for Winter to leave. But what do you guys think about this news? Is this upsetting to you? Who do you think they'll get to replace him as a showrunner? It's something that a lot of people will be very interested in joining this show. It's a really big show. HBO Max are making a lot of these shows, and let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Another one of the shows, incidentally, that HBO Max is currently producing is the Green Lantern show. And according to the Direct, they're saying that the HBO Max Green Lantern show is going to include mature content and also be rated TVMA. So TVMA in America is TV mature. And it's also, according to their sources, is going to feature the Dominators, also known as the Dominion. So I wasn't very familiar with the Dominators and the Dominion. I am an avid comic book reader, but I haven't kind of happened upon them in the comics I've read, but I did some research, and apparently they're very involved in the Invasion storyline, which is actually one of the storylines that was in the crossover Arrowverse crossover episode recently, in which this alien race convinces the members of the Justice League to attack Earth. So if they're using this again, this is supposedly an exclusive from the Direct, but they might be making stuff up. I don't know, but it's according to their sources, they are going to be the main villain in this show, which sounds to me really interesting if it's what they're going to do. And also, it's going to be quite violent and quite bloody and quite some gore in there as well, which it's kind of a different way forward for these DC Comics shows, being grittier, being more violent. It's kind of think less Arrowverse and the CW, think more Doom Patrol and Titans, but hopefully not quite as kind of. I really love Doom Patrol. I think Doom Patrol is a great show. It's really weird, which is something that I really like about it. I think Titans is less good. It's just kind of a gorier version of the CW stuff. Or I just actually, if I'm going to be honest, I actually prefer the CW stuff over Titans. But there are a lot of people out there that really, really do love the Titans TV show. And I understand why. It's a fascinating television show. But this, Jeff Johns is supposedly more involved in this. It's actually going to be, I believe it is being produced by Greg Berlanti, who of course is very involved in the CW stuff. But they're looking to have this be a bit edgier, a bit more mature, a bit more adult, which is something that I think these shows actually do need to lean on more heavily in the future. It looks like they're really going to do that, especially with the Batman series. But what do you think about all of this? Are you excited for the Green Lantern show? Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving on from that and moving on to a Geekosity scoop, which is actually related to a scoop, well, not really a scoop, an article that I published last week about the Batman Beyond series, which is also an HBO Max series, which is currently in the works. And according to Geekosity, Geekosity's Mikey Sutton, I always get that wrong, Warner Brothers is actually actively trying to cast Timothée Chalamet as Terry McGinnis in the Batman Beyond show. So what I'd been told is that they're looking for a Timothée Chalamet type, because one of the reasons why they couldn't really go for him, at least this is what I was told, was because A, he's too expensive, B, he's got a busy schedule, and yeah, that's it. there's not a C in that. They were the two reasons that I was told as to why Warner Brothers were looking for someone similar to him, but not necessarily him. But apparently, according to Mikey Sutton's sources, no, they're actually actively trying to cast him, which is interesting because I personally think he's perfect casting for the role, which is one of the reasons why Warner Brothers and HBO Max were interested in casting someone like him, because he is perfect for the role. But the fact of the matter is that he's getting, his stock is becoming, more kind of, is growing and growing with every single day that goes by. More people are realizing what a good and talented actor Timothée Chalamet is. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, the guy's going to win an Oscar in the future. And now that he's in Dune, so that's 2 movies he's going to be in, and he's shown in the likes of Lady Bird and Little Women and Call Me by Your Name, all these fantastic movies, how good he is. the guy is in high demand and he's got a lot of stuff coming out in the future. So, and with that comes a bigger paycheck for him, really, because he's in high demand. So in order to make sure that the guy actually turns up in your movie or your TV show, you need to pay him a lot of money. The fact of the matter is, though, that Timothée Chalamet actually expressed genuine interest in the role of Robin. And this, to me, being cast as Terry McGinnis is a step above that, because he's Batman. Terry McGinnis is a younger version of Batman, and he's being mentored by what would be Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne. So there is a lot there to really be interested in the sense that if Chalamet were to be cast in the role, probably one of the main reasons why he'd want to do it is because A, the script would be good, hopefully, fingers crossed. B, Michael Keaton's involved. C, he'd get to play Batman. So, and he'd probably get a relatively big paycheck as well. But the fact of the matter is, though, and this is not just me saying this is pretty well known throughout the industry, Warner Brothers are pretty cheap. It's one of those things. They don't like to spend a lot of money on things, and apparently the word on the street is that HBO Max is actually trying to spend as little money as possible on these things. And as far as I'm aware, and as far as my sources were aware, Michael Keaton was the big thing they wanted for the show. That he was the key. They wouldn't have gone ahead without him being involved. Getting him involved was paramount. So they would have probably spent most of their budget, well, not most of it, but a pretty big chunk of their budget on just getting him involved in the series, which again was one of the reasons why my sources were telling me that they were looking for someone like Timothée Chalamet, not him, because he's expensive, and just as he's getting more and more expensive by the hour, I think. Although maybe 2020's put a hold on some of those things, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the minute June comes out, people will be looking at him very, very keenly and wanting to get him into their franchises and potentially their TV shows, their movies. But yeah, what do you guys think about this report? Again, it is a rumor. I will say this: it is speculation. Geekosity is saying it's a scoop, but I do want to say that you do have to. Things do change. It might not happen, but as far as they're concerned, as far as their sources are concerned, it is happening. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Right, moving away from that, I'm moving on to WandaVision and Paul Bettany. So Paul Bettany was talking to Collider about the upcoming WandaVision TV show, which is coming out on the 15th of January, I believe, 2021. And he revealed during this interview that he actually thought, well, he knows that WandaVision is actually going to make sense within the MCU. One of the things about the WandaVision TV show that is both interesting and maybe rather difficult for people to wrap their heads around is that it's all taking place, supposedly, all taking place in Wanda Maximoff's head, which makes it kind of, as far as the MCU is concerned, a bit weird, because nothing like this has really ever happened in the MCU. It's kind of the weirdest thing we got to this was probably Doctor Strange, and that really wasn't that weird. But this is going to be really, really quite out there. I think it's filmed like a kind of 50s TV show. They dressed up, everyone on set had to dress up like they were in the 50s. It must have been very hot, lots of woolen jumpers. But and they let everyone involved that they filmed it in front of a live audience. Everyone in that audience had to sign an NDA saying they can't leak anything about it. Marvel's really hot on this, which is why it's actually very, very difficult trying to find anyone that will talk to you about anything Marvel related. But anyway, here's the quote. He said, "I think it's going to make you think about the MCU in a whole brand new way, but I do think that it's absolutely a part of that universe. As each episode unfolds, the audience will be able to peel back layer upon layer until this rather beautiful puzzle box written by Jack Schaefer, and directed by Matt Shakman, and shot by Jess Hall will be revealed to everybody, and it will make sense. All of the bonkers stuff will be about something." So basically he's saying that it will make sense within the MCU. So, which is good. It might be a bit of a kind of side or an aside to the MCU, to the kind of main movies and TV shows that are going on, but it will tie in with the MCU, and I'm pretty sure it will tie in with Doctor Strange. I am calling it now. I think Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange will turn up at the end, and I think Scarlet Witch is going to be an antagonist or one of the antagonists in Doctor Strange 2. I think she's going to pose quite a big threat moving forward. We've also heard from Elizabeth Olsen herself that she wants to be playing this role for years to come. It's a role that she really loves playing. And one of the reasons why she loves playing it so much is possibly because she's going to explore a darker side to her character, which is fascinating. This whole thing is fascinating. I think WandaVision is going to really blow people's minds. I really, really do think it's going to be great. But what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving away from that and moving on to some Netflix movie news. Right, so it's been revealed that Jennifer Garner and Zoe Saldana are joining Ryan Reynolds' upcoming Netflix movie that's called The Adam Project. So this movie is it's being directed, I believe, by Sean Levy, who's the director of Free Guy, which is the movie that Ryan Reynolds is going to be in next. It's supposed to come out in December. It's now been pushed into 2021. We don't really know when it's going to come out. But this next movie, so this was reported by The Hollywood Reporter. So let's see. So it's going to be the second film of Ryan Reynolds coming to Netflix. The first one being that god-awful Six Underground movie that he did with Michael Bay. I'm sorry if you like that film. It's not a good movie. And according to The Hollywood Reporter, so the plot will involve Reynolds will star as a man who goes back in time and gets some help from his 13-year-old self. During their time-traveling adventures, they end up meeting up with their deceased father, who is roughly the same age as Reynolds is now. Jennifer Garner has been cast as the boy's mother, and Saldana is playing the adult character's wife, who also happens to be a fighter pilot. So this screenplay was written by Jonathan Topper, who was working from an original script by Mark Levine, Jennifer Flackett, and T.S. Nolwyn. And it sounds, it's a sci-fi kind of, it sounds a bit like Back to the Future in a weird way. Sorry, you might hear that my throat's quite croaky at the moment, but it sounds quite interesting, and I do like it. It's not quite like I know Ryan Reynolds did a horror film called Life before, which was a science fiction film, which I thought was just terrible. A lot of people likened it to Venom in a weird way, which it actually kind of was a bit like Venom, actually. But it's kind of Alien meets Venom. But he likes doing these films. He's doing a lot, actually, Ryan Reynolds. He's making a lot of stuff. And he's doing a lot of these movies with Netflix now. So it seems to be a place that he really likes to work, or a company he likes to work with, which makes sense because they give people a lot of money to make relatively average movies often. And I think this film has people involved in it that were also involved in The Old Guard, which it's another film I thought wasn't very good. There's lots of these films coming out on Netflix, but the thing is, I think Jennifer Garner and Zoe Saldana are brilliant actors. If you haven't seen Peppermint, which is the Jennifer Garner movie that came out, I think 2019. I think it came out last year. It is fantastic. She is brilliant in it. I really like that film, and I think she's a really good action star. It sounds to me as though she's not going to be doing much action in this, which is a bit of a shame. She's going to be playing a mother, But I like the fact that Zoe Saldana is playing Ryan Reynolds' wife, who's also a fighter pilot. I think that's quite amusing. But let me know what you guys think about this. Is this a project, the Adam Project? Is this something you're interested in? Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving away from that, moving on to Scream. There's been a lot of Scream news over the last couple of hours. So first off, it was revealed that Scream 5 had finished shooting and was going to be coming out in, I think it was January 14th, 2022, which is a long way away, considering it's finished shooting already. They've got like over a year now to edit it. But it was then revealed that Scream 5 is going to be called Scream. Which is kind of confusing because Wes Craven's original movie that came out in 1996 was called Scream. So Scream 5 is called Scream. I wonder who came up with that one. The thing is, I actually really do like the look of this film and the sound of it. I like the people behind it. It's the directors of a film called Ready or Not, which is a really good horror movie. You should watch it. It's really good. And it's got Courtney Cox coming back, Neve Campbell, David Arquette. It's got a whole bunch of new cast members as well that are coming back, and so they revealed today that it was a wrap, that production had finished, and so 25 years ago the first film came out. So it's a film that I'm just really excited they're doing it. Of course, Wes Craven is sadly no longer with us, so he won't be directing it, but I believe, it sounds to me, they got the original writer back who's also producing it, and he was Kevin Williamson, and he was the one that actually revealed the new title and the fact that they'd finished shooting it. So I like that. I like the fact that they're getting kind of the old gang back together, and hopefully they're going to keep that original kind of Scream vibe with it, and maybe update it slightly. If you've got the Ready or Not guys coming in as well, hopefully they'll give a different spin on what is basically a horror spoof. The original Scream was a horror spoof, really. It was a kind of it was a pastiche of all those kind of slasher horror movies that were coming out, and it was something that Wes Craven really wanted to do, and it is quite funny when you watch it now. It's quite a funny movie, and of course, then oddly enough, the Scary Movies came out after that, which were a pastiche of a pastiche, kind of a spoof of the spoof. Which again, the first Scary Movie is quite fun, but after that one, it kind of got a bit old. But again, that's the same thing with the Scream franchise. After the first Scream movie, they kind of got gradually worse and worse and worse until Scream 4 came out, which, I mean, I love Wes Craven, but it wasn't a very good film. Hopefully this one will be better. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Right, moving away from that and moving on to Zachary Levi, who is one of my favorite actors of all time. I think Zachary Levi is great. I've loved the guy ever since he was in Chuck. That was a series that I really, really adored. It's a McG series, but I really like that show. But it's been revealed today in the Hollywood Reporter that he's going to be starring in a movie called The Unbreakable Boy, which is being directed by John Gunn. I do not believe John Gunn has any relation to James Gunn. I didn't look that up, actually. I don't think so. But of course, Zachary Levi's been making a bit of a name for himself. He was in Shazam. He is Shazam. He is Shazam. He was in Tangled. He's actually Captain Marvel, I believe, is Shazam's real name. He was in the Disney movie Tangled. He did a voice in that. He was in The Marvelous Miss Maisel in a cameo role. So he's been in a lot of stuff. And this movie is going into production. He's going to be playing the lead. So he'll be playing a dad in the film. His son Austin has a brittle bone disease and autism, but he also has a joyous take on life that transforms and unites everyone around him. The film will be distributed by Lionsgate. There's no news on when the film will come out, but it seems like he's going to do this film and then going to go on and do another film after this called American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story, which is with the Erwin brothers. But I just wanted to mention this because I'm a big fan of Zachary Levi's. I'll watch basically anything that he does. He's a massive geek as well, which I really love. He's a big comic, he's a comic book guy, but also a very big gamer. So what do you guys think about this? Is this something that you're interested in? Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving on from that and on to, let's do Zack Snyder. So Zack Snyder actually revealed how he managed to convince Jared Leto to return as the Joker in the Justice League. So Snyder, of course, has been doing a heck of a lot of interviews recently. Loads of interviews. Yesterday, of course, the new trailer for Justice League was revealed. They actually released two. They released one that was monochrome, which Zack Snyder kind of released through Vero, and then HBO Max released a color one. I don't really know why they did that. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely and utterly brutal with you here, and brutally honest. That's what I wanted to say. I think they're botching this. First off, I don't understand. I know that they gave the reason being like, oh, there are music rights, so we had to take the trailer down. Fine, all right, I'll accept that. But why release two trailers after that on the same day that are basically the same? Just one is in color and one is in monochrome, black and white. I really don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm really, really excited to see this film. I really want to see this film, but I really do worry about HBO Max in particular and what they're doing with a lot of their projects that are coming up. Because they're spending a lot on this. I think it's reported 70 million. they've spent on getting this Zack Snyder's cut done and out and finished. And according to my sources, they're going to be making a second one. Again, it does depend on how well this film does, but I'm pretty sure this film's going to do really well regardless. But I really do think they're not doing the film justice with the no pun intended, with the way they're promoting it. Maybe taking it down, taking the trailers down and putting them back up again is probably the best kind of marketing ploy that anyone's ever come up with. But I just think it just seems kind of haphazard, the whole way they're doing it. It just seems really weird to me. And it also seems to me as though Zack Snyder's having to do a lot of the promotion himself, which I kind of get. Maybe they're just saying, oh, do whatever you want, talk to whoever you want to. But he's talking to so many people. He probably took like 3 days out of his schedule just so that he could talk to all these people. I mean, it just seems a bit odd to me. The whole thing seems odd. I do love the fact that he talks to the fans. I think that's great, and that just shows what kind of person Zack Snyder is. He loves the fans and he wants to talk to them. But I get a sense that the way they've been releasing this and the way they've been promoting it just doesn't make any sense. And I get the sense that he's not really getting much help from HBO Max and Warner Brothers. I mean, according to him, it was Toby Emmerich, who's the head of Warner Brothers, that wanted him to do this, that called him up, that gave him the call to get this going, asking him if he wanted to do it. Then why not back him up properly? It's actually their biggest thing that's coming out. It's like this cut, apart from Wonder Woman 1984, which we don't even know when it's going to come out. Is it going to come out in December? I don't know. I hope so. I'd love it if it did, but at the moment, it's looking like it's coming out in 2021. But this is definitely coming out in 2021. It more likely than not will come out towards the beginning of the year. There are, of course, I'm going to start talking about Jared Leto in a second, but he is going to be in it playing the Joker. That I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be really interested to see him. But yeah, I don't know. I just find the whole thing a bit weird. I think the whole thing's really weird to me. But anyway, he revealed this back to the Joker. He was talking to the Film Junkie, which is a really good YouTube channel you should go and check out, actually. So he was talking to him and revealed that kind of the conversation that happened and how he managed to get Jared Leto to come and play the Joker. So he said it was a cool conversation because when I pitched the idea, I feel like he hooked onto why of it, and there's a big why, and I was like, okay. And literally he said to me, we'll talk more, and then I kept calling him, and we talked for a while, and then he agreed to do it. So it sounds to me as though Jared Leto was kind of on board from the very beginning. But he needed to be convinced. He needed to be wooed. Let's say that. Let's put it like that. He needed to feel like he was needed. And I get that. Of course, there's a lot of history there for him with the Joker role. Of course, he had a pretty specific vision in mind for the character, and I really don't think he got to play that. I'm 100% positive that the Joker that we saw in Suicide Squad was not the version of the Joker that Jared Leto wanted to give us. If anything, it was toned down. I'm pretty sure he really wanted to turn it up to 11. And I think he did that, and I think he did that on set, and I think there are reels of him being absolutely bonkers in that movie, and Warner Brothers chickened out, and they decided to tone it down, to re-edit it, to basically edit that movie like it was a music video, which is basically what it is. It's multiple music videos in one movie. And unfortunately, we got a very watered down version. I think in this movie, in Justice League, even though it's going to be very, very small, his role in it, I think this scene that he's doing or he's shot will be miles better than anything we saw in Justice League, because there's more thought that's gone into it, and I think it's going to be. Well, we're going to see what Zack Snyder had in mind, and I think it sounds to me like the two of them kind of concocted this together and really came up with a story arc for the Joker, which is I think it's going to be really interesting. But let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Right, so moving away from that and moving on to what I think is actually pretty much the biggest story of not of the day. Let's just say that, and it's going to be the final story today. And again, it comes from Geekosity, Mikey Sutton's Geekosity. Why do I say that? Geekosity's Mikey Sutton. Sorry. And according to him and his sources, Warner Brothers is considering making a solo Mera movie starring Amber Heard. So I know the minute you hear that, you've probably got a lot of people out there crying their eyes out. Well, not crying their eyes out, but getting really annoyed about this, because again, there's a lot of, the story, I've spoken about this a lot. There's a lot to talk about as far as Amber Heard's concerned. But again, I mentioned this yesterday's show, I believe, that Warner Brothers will find it very, very difficult to fire Amber Heard from Aquaman 2. And according to Mikey Sutton's sources, they're actually seeing this, the whole kind of online anger towards Amber Heard and the all the calls to have her fired, the online petition, which has now reached well over, I think it was 1.2 million when I last checked, so it's probably like 1.5 million now. But they're ignoring that. They're not paying any attention to all of that. And he said, this is in his article, and I quoted him. He said, an insider explained that they see it no differently than the boycott of Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel film, which proved to be ineffective as it brought in over $1 billion to Disney. They believe it's artificially inflated and most likely politically motivated. They don't base their decision on web chatter. So it actually makes sense that this is what they might do. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know whether they'll go through with this, because I don't see a solo Mera movie making anywhere near $1 billion. I don't see it cracking 500 million. I don't see it cracking 300 million. I don't think people would see it, mainly because I'm going to be completely honest here. Amber Heard's not a good enough actor to take that on. She's not a Brie Larson. And I know people have their issues with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel, but Brie Larson is a fantastic actor. Amber Heard doesn't have a movie in her repertoire like Room. And honestly, I don't think she ever will do. She's just not that type of actor. And I think Mera is not an interesting enough character to make a solo movie. I understand that there are probably executives and producers at Warner Brothers that think this is a good idea, because they think it's more representation. But the problem is, backing Amber Heard is you're backing the wrong horse as far as that movie is concerned. If you're gonna make a DC Comics kind of female-led movie, well, you already got Margot Robbie, who's you've done the Birds of Prey film, which again I say this every time, I actually really, really enjoyed. I thought Birds of Prey was actually really good fun. But I think that there's a movie in there with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn that you can make, which would be far, far better than Birds of Prey. But this is, I'm saying that there's room there, that there are other actors involved, there are other characters involved within the DCEU, within the DC kind of comics universe, that are far more interesting than Mera, that are far more, they just have so much more potential than a Mera solo movie. So according to Geekosity, this is being talked about. This is what they're thinking of doing. They're not going to do it. They're never going to do this. Never in a million years are they going to make a Mera solo movie, because, as I said before, Mera is just not an interesting enough character as played by Amber Heard. If they were to cast someone else in the role, then maybe. But as far as Mera as it stands in the DCU being played by Amber Heard, no, I don't. I really don't. I don't think that they'll look at they'll look at the potential revenue they can make from the film, and they'll be like, no, it just doesn't make sense to make this. They'll probably end up what you could spend. Let's say you spend 200 million on it, all right, which is actually quite a lot, to be honest. So let's say 150. And then it ends up making 350 million at the box office. You're making a loss. Because honestly, the max, I mean, the The problem is that there are lots of people. It's just both. It's not just well, as far as Amber Heard's concerned, it's not just one side or the other that really dislike her. It's both. And again, you can't say anything at the moment because like the whole that I know that the Sun won the case against Johnny Depp, but there are lots of court cases going on still involving both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. But I think forget that. Put that to one side. Put all that stuff to one side and look at Amber Heard's back catalogue. Look at the stuff she's done in the past. I think she's good in Aquaman, sorry. And I think she'll probably be very good in Aquaman 2 as well. I think she works alongside Jason Momoa. But that's the thing. She works in a movie. She's a side character. She's a side character that and she doesn't have, she's not she doesn't have the same, what's the word? Kind of, she's not like a Gal Gadot. She's not a Brie Larson. She's not one of those actors. At least as far as I'm concerned. And I'm pretty sure people at Warner Brothers know that as well. And I think Amber Heard knows where her character is. Like, I think she knows that Mera is very much someone that will turn up in movies, in bigger movies, will turn up in an Aquaman film, but will never actually have her own movie. She's not a Scarlet, it's not a Black Widow type character. Again, if they've written a fantastic script and it's wonderful and they're like, let's go with it, then fine. But I don't even think a fantastic script is really good enough. I think there's too much bad press around her as well. I think that again, there's too much bad press around Amber Heard. And I know that the source here said that they're thinking it's artificially inflated, this whole petition thing. That the fact of the matter is the petition is online. It's there. It's there for everyone to see. It's there for everyone to report on. It's all people seem to be reporting on. So it's just bad. It's just bad PR for everybody. And it will stick in people's minds. And I'm actually really fascinated to see what happens when Aquaman 2 comes out, whether there is a big boycott or not, or whether it does end up making $1 billion. Because honestly, I think it will end up making $1 billion. And I actually hope it does, because Aquaman 2 is not just an Amber Heard movie. It's far more than that. It's a James Wan film. Well, supposedly it hasn't been officially greenlit yet. But, it's got James Wan in it, directing it. You've got Jason Momoa in it. You probably have Willem Dafoe in it as well. And then there's the whole cast. There's the rest of the cast. There's the crew. You've got Abdul Yahin Matter III, Abdul Yahya Mateen the second, sorry, and who's a brilliant actor, but I always struggle with his name. Again, I'm not good with names. So it's more than just Amber Heard, and I think people need to think about that when they think about Aquaman 2. But as far as a solo Mera movie is concerned, no, it's not going to happen. And on that bombshell, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you so much for watching. If you like listening to these sorts of things as a podcast, I do release this as a podcast. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts at Small Screen Stories. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us 5 stars. That'd be wonderful. If you're watching now on YouTube, subscribe. If you like the video, like it. If you're watching on Facebook, like the Facebook page, like the video, share the video. That'd be really good if you could do that. Whatever you guys do on Twitch, keep on doing what you're doing. I have no idea. Maybe follow me. I don't know if you can follow me on Twitch. And you can follow Small Screen everywhere on social media at Small Screen GB. So that's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also go and read the articles on the site, which is at small-screen.co.uk. You can follow me as well if you want on Twitter at EJ Lauder. And I believe that's everything I have to plug. So thank you very, very much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in